You're a liar. Yes, you're sitting right there. The biggest lies aren't the ones you tell others. They're the ones you tell yourself. I'll start tomorrow. I'm just waiting for the right time. I need more information before I begin. These aren't truths. They're comfortable deceptions. Your ambition has become nothing more than sophisticated self-deception. And what's worse, you've become so good at lying to yourself that you actually believe your own excuses. You've convinced yourself that your inaction is justified, that your procrastination is reasonable. But deep down, in that place you rarely visit, you know the truth. You're afraid, not of failure, but of discovering that you might not be as special as you think you are. The room falls silent as you take your seat. You've been rushing all day, barely making it to this venue on time. Your phone buzzes in your pocket, another notification, another demand for your attention. But something tells you to ignore it this time. Something tells you this moment matters more than whatever message just arrived. You came here looking for answers, didn't you? Looking for that spark. That thing that would finally push you over the edge from dreaming to doing. I see it in your eyes. The same hunger I've seen in thousands of eyes before yours. The desire for greatness coupled with the frustration of unfulfilled potential. Let me ask you something. And I want you to answer honestly, not to me, but to yourself. How many times have you said, tomorrow? I'll start tomorrow. How many dreams have you buried in the graveyard called someday? The greatest tragedy in life is not death. The greatest tragedy is life without purpose, existence without direction. And I'm here to tell you something that might disturb you. Ambition without action is nothing but delusion. You see, we live in a world that celebrates ambition. We put it on t-shirts. We make motivational posters about it. We tell our children to dream big. But nobody talks about the silent killer of dreams, laziness, dressed up as waiting for the right time. Your mind is powerful. It can envision futures so bright they blind you to the darkness of inaction. You can see yourself succeeding, accepting awards, changing lives, making millions all while sitting on your couch, remote in hand, saying, I'll get started on Monday. Let me share something with you. In my travels around the world, I've encountered two types of people, those who use time and those who are used by time. The difference between them isn't intelligence. It isn't opportunity. It isn't even luck. The difference is understanding the relationship between ambition and action. The ambitious but lazy person is like someone who plants seeds but refuses to water them. Then wonders why nothing grows. They collect books but never read them. They buy exercise equipment that becomes expensive clothing racks. They attend seminars and conferences, filling notebooks with ideas they never implement. Does this sound familiar to anyone in this room? Your problem isn't that you don't know what to do. Your problem is that you don't do what you know. When we examine the lives of truly successful people, we discover something interesting. They weren't necessarily the most talented, the most connected, or even the most intelligent, but they were willing to do what others wouldn't. They were willing to sacrifice temporary comfort for long-term fulfillment. Consider this. Everything you want is on the other side of discomfort. Everything you desire requires you to do something uncomfortable first. You want financial freedom, you must become uncomfortable with spending mindlessly. You want physical health, you must become uncomfortable with unhealthy eating habits. You want meaningful relationships, you must become uncomfortable with vulnerability. You want career success, you must become uncomfortable with rejection and failure. But here's where so many of us get stuck. We've confused comfort with happiness. We think that avoiding discomfort will lead to satisfaction. Nothing could be further from the truth. Comfort is the enemy of achievement. Comfort is the prison we build for ourselves, decorating the cell so beautifully that we forget we're trapped. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine you're at the end of your life. Looking back, what will hurt more? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? The temporary discomfort of pushing yourself or the permanent anguish of knowing you could have, but didn't? You see, lazy ambition is actually fear in disguise. It's not that you don't want to act, it's that you're afraid to act. Afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid that your best might not be good enough. But here's the truth that will set you free. Action cures fear. Not thinking about action, not planning action. Not talking about action, doing. One step, however small, in the direction of your dreams changes everything. It creates momentum. It builds evidence that you're capable. It silences the voices of doubt, both internal and external. Let me ask you a question that might make you uncomfortable. What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? Now, let me ask you an even more important question. What dream is so important to you that you would pursue it, even if you might fail? That's the dream worth fighting for. That's the ambition worth sweating for. That's the vision worth sacrificing for. You see, success isn't complicated. It's simple, but it's not easy. Success is doing simple things consistently over time. Reading 10 pages of a book every day. Making one sales call more than you did yesterday. Saving a small percentage of every paycheck. Practicing your craft for 30 minutes when you don't feel like it. Small actions, repeated consistently, create massive results over time. But here's the problem. We live in a culture obsessed with overnight success. We want the transformation without the transition. We want the result without the process. We scroll through social media seeing people's highlights and wonder why our behind the scenes doesn't match up. Let me tell you something. There is no such thing as overnight success. What you're seeing is the visible outcome of invisible effort. What looks like sudden achievement is actually the result of years of preparation meeting opportunity. The lazy, ambitious person wants the breakthrough without the breakdown. They want the crown without the cross. They want the glory without the grind. But life doesn't work that way. Life rewards action, not intention. Life rewards persistence, not perfection. There's a story of a young person who approached a successful elder asking for the secret to success. The elder took the young person to the ocean, walked into the water, and suddenly pushed the young person's head underwater. After about 30 seconds of struggle, the elder released them. What was that for? The young person gasped. The elder replied, when you want success as badly as you wanted air just now, then you'll have it. How badly do you want it? Enough to turn off Netflix. Enough to wake up an hour earlier. Enough to use your lunch break to work on your dreams. Enough to invest in yourself when everyone else is spending on themselves. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is called action. Not thinking, not planning, not intending, doing. And here's the beautiful part. Action doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. With every step you take toward your dreams, you become a different person. You develop discipline. You build character. You grow in confidence. You become someone worthy of the very dreams you're pursuing. The ambitious but lazy person doesn't understand this transformation. They think success is something you get. not someone you become. They want the destination without the journey. But I'm here to tell you that the journey is the destination. The process is the prize. The transformation is the triumph. So what's stopping you? What's keeping you in this cycle of ambitious dreaming and lazy procrastination? For most people, it comes down to three things. First, they haven't connected their daily actions to their deepest values. When what you do aligns with who you are, motivation becomes automatic. Second, they're trying to rely on willpower rather than systems. Willpower fails. Systems succeed. Don't expect yourself to make the right choice every time through sheer force of will. Create environments that make the right choice the easy choice. Third, they're waiting for motivation when they should be practicing discipline. Motivation is an emotion that comes and goes. Discipline is a decision that stays. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can continue as you have been ambitious in thought but lazy in action, or you can decide that today marks the boundary between who you were and who you're becoming. What will you choose? You know what's fascinating about human nature? Our incredible ability to deceive ourselves. We tell ourselves stories beautiful. Elaborate stories about why we haven't started yet. I'm waiting for the perfect time. I need to learn more first. I'll begin when things settle down. Once I get this promotion, then I'll focus on my dream. These stories sound reasonable. They feel justified. But they're just sophisticated forms of resistance. They're the mind's way of protecting you from the discomfort of growth. Let me tell you something powerful. There is never a perfect time. The conditions will never be ideal. The stars will never align perfectly. And that's the point. Success isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. The ambitious but lazy person is always preparing to live. Always getting ready. Always in rehearsal mode. But life isn't a dress rehearsal. This is the main event. This is your one and only life unfolding in real time. Right before your eyes. When you truly grasp the brevity of life, when you understand that your heartbeats are numbered, you stop waiting for permission to pursue your purpose. Did you know that the average human heart beats about 2.5 billion times in a lifetime? Sounds like a lot, doesn't it? But each of those heartbeats is precious. Each one is irreplaceable. And with every beat that passes while you're stuck in ambitious laziness, you're spending a currency you can never earn back. Time. Time is the great equalizer. No matter who you are, how much money you have, or where you were born, you get 24 hours each day. No more, no less. The question isn't whether you have time. The question is how you're investing it. Are you investing it in activities that move you toward your destiny? Or are you spending it on distractions that keep you comfortable? Look at your phone screen time report. Look at your weekly schedule. Look at your bank statement. These don't lie. They reveal what you truly value, not what you say you value. You see, we don't actually behave according to our goals. We behave according to our systems. We don't rise to the level of our ambitions. We fall to the level of our habits. The ambitious but lazy person has lofty goals but destructive habits. They want the body of an athlete but have the eating habits of a tourist. They want the wealth of an entrepreneur but have the spending habits of a consumer. They want the impact of a leader but have the courage of a follower. This gap between who you are and who you want to be can only be bridged by changing your daily actions. Small daily improvements over time lead to stunning results. This is the principle of compound effect. Just as money compounds in an investment account, actions compound in your life. If you improve just 1% each day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better by the end. Not 365% better, which would be impressive enough, but 37 times better, or 3.700%. That's the power of compound growth. But here's the catch. The same principle works in reverse. If you decline by 1% each day, you'll decline to nearly zero over the same period. Small negative habits compound into disaster, just as reliably as positive ones compound into success. The ambitious but lazy person doesn't respect this power. They think success comes from big, dramatic moves. But true transformation happens through tiny, consistent actions that accumulate over time. You don't have to do extraordinary things. You just have to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. You don't need to write a book in a day. You need to write a page or even a paragraph every day. You don't need to transform your body in a month. You need to make slightly better food choices and move your body a little more each day. You don't need to build a business empire overnight. You need to serve one customer so well they can't help but tell others about you. Excellence isn't an event. It's a habit. And habits are built one repetition at a time. But let's be honest about something. Your lazy self will resist this. Your lazy self will fight for its survival. Your lazy self will create compelling reasons why now is not the time and tomorrow would be better. This is normal. This is human. This is the resistance that every achiever in history has faced and overcome. The difference between those who achieve and those who merely dream isn't the absence of resistance. It's the commitment to push through it. You must decide that your dreams are more important than your comfort. You must decide that your purpose is more powerful than your excuses. You must decide that the pain of discipline is preferable to the pain of regret. When you make this decision, truly make it. Not just intellectually, but with your whole being, everything changes. You stop asking, do I feel like doing this today? And start saying, this matters. So I will do it regardless of how I feel. Feelings are important, but they make terrible masters. Let your purpose drive your actions, not your emotions. Have you noticed how the world makes it easy to be mediocre and difficult to be exceptional? The path of least resistance leads to a life of maximum regret. Swimming upstream is harder than floating downstream, but it builds strength that drifting never will. The resistance is developing you for the destiny that awaits you. Your ambitious but lazy self wants the rewards without the struggle. But the struggle isn't just the path to the reward, it is the reward. It's in the struggle that you discover who you are and what you're made of. Think about the most significant achievements in your life so far. Did they come easily, or did they require effort? Persistence and overcoming obstacles. I already know the answer. Nothing worthwhile comes without effort. Nothing meaningful arrives without struggle. The ambitious but lazy person misunderstands the nature of achievement. They think it should feel good during the process. But real achievement often feels like failure in the middle. It's uncomfortable. It's frustrating. It's filled with setbacks and disappointments. But on the other side of that discomfort is everything you've ever wanted. On the other side of that frustration is the person you're meant to become. On the other side of those setbacks and disappointments is a strength and wisdom you can gain no other way. The question isn't whether you'll face resistance. You will. The question is whether you'll push through it or let it stop you. I know you've been stopped before. I know you've given up on dreams. I know you've settled for less than you desired. We all have. But that was then. This is now. And now is where your power lives. You cannot change one moment of your past, but you can change every moment of your future. Beginning with this one, right now. You stand at a crossroads. One path leads to more of the same, more ambitious dreaming coupled with lazy inaction. The other path leads to transformation, to becoming someone who doesn't just talk about dreams but pursues them with relentless action. Which path will you choose? Your life changes the moment you make a new, congruent, and committed decision. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. So many people are waiting for some external event to change their lives. They're waiting for the perfect opportunity, the right connections, or some stroke of luck. But real transformation begins with an internal choice, a decision that says, enough is enough today. I choose differently. This decision must come from the deepest part of you. It can't be something you should do. It must be something you must do. There's a world of difference between I should exercise and I must take care of my body because my purpose depends on it. When something becomes a must instead of a should, you find a way, no matter what. The ambitious but lazy person lives in the land of should. The achiever lives in the land of must. What must you do with your life? What contribution must you make? What purpose must you fulfill? When you answer these questions honestly. Males, you tap into a power source that can overcome any obstacle, including your own laziness. Purpose is the ultimate antidote to laziness. When you're driven by purpose, you don't need external motivation. You don't need someone pushing you. You're pulled forward by something greater than yourself. But let me be clear, finding your purpose isn't about some mystical revelation. It's about action. Purpose reveals itself through doing, not thinking. As you take action, even imperfect action, your path becomes clearer. Most people have it backward. They want clarity before action. But clarity comes from action, not before it. The ambitious but lazy person is waiting for the fog to clear before they start the journey. The achiever starts walking, and the fog clears with each step. Start before you're ready. Perfect is the enemy of done, and done is better than perfect. Let me tell you something that might shock you. Your problem isn't laziness. Your problem is perfectionism disguised as preparation. You think you're being responsible by waiting until conditions are perfect, until you've learned enough, until you've planned thoroughly. But this isn't responsibility. It's fear masquerading as prudence. The truly responsible person takes action with what they have, not where they are. Right now, they understand that resources flow to action, not to ideas. Money flows to action. Opportunities flow to action. Connections flow to action. Even clarity flows to action. Nothing in this world rewards thinking alone. The universe responds to doing. This doesn't mean you shouldn't think or plan. It means your thinking and planning should quickly translate into specific, concrete actions. The ambitious but lazy person spends 90% of their time planning and 10% acting. The achiever spends 10% planning and 90% acting, adjusting their plan as they go. You see, success isn't a straight line. It's messy. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But as long as you keep moving, you'll make progress. The only true failure is to stop moving forward altogether. This is why resilience is more important than talent. This is why persistence is more valuable than intelligence. This is why discipline outperforms motivation every single time. Talent without discipline is like an octopus on roller skates. There's plenty of movement. But you never know if it's going to be forward, backward, or sideways. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. The ambitious but lazy person constantly sacrifices what they want most for what they want in the moment. They sacrifice their health for temporary pleasure. They sacrifice their dreams for temporary comfort. They sacrifice their growth for temporary convenience. But when you truly decide that your ambition will no longer be held hostage by your laziness, you reverse this equation. You begin sacrificing temporary comforts for lasting fulfillment. You begin choosing short-term pain for long-term gain. This isn't deprivation. It's investment. You're investing current resources for future returns. Just as you wouldn't expect financial wealth without financial investment. You can't expect life wealth without life investment. Every time you choose discomfort in service of your goals, you're making a deposit in your future. Every time you push through resistance, you're building equity in yourself. This equity compounds over time. The person who can do difficult things consistently becomes a different person, a person capable of achievements they once thought impossible. Remember, it's not about resources. It's about resourcefulness. It's not about what you have. It's about what you do with what you have. There's a voice inside you that knows the truth. Right now, that voice is speaking to you. Can you hear it? It's telling you that you were born for more than mediocrity. It's reminding you that your dreams matter. It's urging you to stop making excuses and start making progress. This voice is your authentic self calling you toward your highest potential. Most people spend their lives drowning out this voice with busyness, entertainment, and the opinions of others. But the voice never stops speaking. It just gets harder to hear when you're alone. In those quiet moments before sleep or upon waking, the voice becomes clearer. It reminds you of promises you've made to yourself. It questions why you've settled for less than you're capable of becoming. The ambitious but lazy person acknowledges this voice occasionally, but quickly distracts themselves from its message. The achiever learns to amplify this voice and align their actions with its guidance. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. Your habits are the shadows of your values. What do your habits say about what you truly value? If someone followed you around for a week, recording how you spend your time, your money, and your energy, what would they conclude matters most to you? Would their conclusion match what you say matters most? Integrity is when your words and actions align. It's when what you say and what you do tell the same story. The ambitious but lazy person lacks this integrity. They say achievement matters, but their actions say comfort matters more. This misalignment creates internal conflict. It creates the frustration of knowing you could be more but choosing to remain less. It creates the ache of unfulfilled potential. You can eliminate this conflict right now by making a decision and backing that decision with immediate action. Not action tomorrow. Not action when you feel like it. Action now. What is one step you can take today, no matter how small, toward your most important goal? What is one action that would signal to yourself that you're serious this time? The size of the step doesn't matter. What matters is breaking the pattern of procrastination and building momentum toward what matters most. Remember, motion creates emotion. Action precedes motivation, not the other way around. You don't have to feel like doing something to start doing it. But once you start doing it, your feelings will often change. The ambitious but lazy person waits to feel motivated before acting. The achiever acts and allows motivation to follow. This is the secret that productive people understand. Motivation isn't the fuel for action. Action is the fuel for motivation. When you take that first step, something powerful happens. Your brain registers that you're serious. Your subconscious mind begins to align with your conscious intentions. Resources you didn't know you had become available to you. The universe doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards committed action. Think about the heroes you admire, the leaders who inspire you, the achievers whose lives you respect. They aren't fundamentally different from you. They don't have some special gene you lack. They simply made different choices consistently over time. They chose discomfort over comfort when it mattered. They chose growth over safety when it counted. They chose purpose over pleasure when it was difficult. And those choices made daily, often without recognition or reward, accumulated into lives of meaning and achievement. You have the same choice in front of you right now. Not tomorrow. Not when circumstances improve. Right here, right now. Will you choose the path of ambitious laziness that leads to comfortable mediocrity? Or will you choose the path of purposeful action that leads to meaningful achievement? Your life is speaking to you through your dissatisfaction, through your restlessness, through that persistent feeling that you're meant for more. These aren't signals to ignore. They're invitations to grow. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't a reason for discouragement. It's a call to action. It's life's way of telling you that there's more within you waiting to be expressed. The ambitious but lazy person sees this gap as evidence of failure. The achiever sees it as evidence of possibility. Possibility becomes reality through consistent action. Not someday. Not when everything is perfect. Today. Now, with whatever you have, wherever you are, the truth is, you already know what to do. You don't need more information. You don't need more inspiration. You need more implementation. You need to translate what you know into what you do. Your future self is watching you right now, hoping you'll make the right choice, hoping you'll finally bridge the gap between your ambition and your actions, hoping you'll stop waiting and start creating. This future self, the person you could become, is depending on the choices you make today. Not the person you'll be tomorrow or next year, but the person you're becoming with each decision. Every time you choose action over laziness, purpose over comfort, growth over safety, you become more of who you're truly meant to be. And here's the beautiful truth. As you transform yourself through action, you transform your capacity to achieve. What once seemed impossible becomes merely difficult. What once seemed difficult becomes manageable. What once seemed manageable becomes easy. But this transformation doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice, your choice repeated day after day. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of the obstacles you face, the world makes room for those who know where they're going. When you move with purpose and persistence, doors open that would have remained closed to the ambitious but lazy person. So I leave you with this question. Who will you become? Not what will you achieve, but who will you become in the process of achievement? Because in the end, the greatest achievement isn't what you get, but who you become. The choice is yours. It always has been. Choose wisely. Choose now. And then back that choice with immediate, instant action. Your destiny awaits.